Murry. It's so great to be here meeting with you. I know everyone in Onlyinclermont would love to hear more about what you have to say about all the new and exciting things coming to Clermont. First off, let's get started with some basic, simple things. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, things like that?
Born and raised right here in Clermont. I'm a fifth child of a family of 12 kids and everything. My parents came from humble beginnings. They was sharecroppers here. My parents wasn't very educated. The father had a second grade education. My mother had a eighth grade education, but somehow they raised 12 kids here in this great city of Clermont. I was able to graduate high school and went off to college. And somehow I ended up in the Air Force. I retired from the Air Force in '98. Took a job here in Clermont in '99 working for the post office, even though I was commuting from Orlando back and forth from Orlando every day. I was finally able to purchase a home in Clermont in 2001. And just so lucky me, I was able to purchase a home right across the street from the home I grew up in. So I went right back into the community I grew up in. So it was a pleasure, of course, and kind of ironic because growing up here back in my days, friends and I used to sit on the street corners at night and on the streets because we was too afraid to go outside our community due to some of the civil unrest in the area during the time, But we would sit there and we would make statements like, one day we're gonna grow up, do something with our lives, and come back to Clermont and make a difference.
So with that said, what inspired you to run for mayor?
Well, what inspired me to run for mayor, as I say, I got involved in community once I moved back into my community. I got involved with the police, working with the police and local authorities of trying to clean up the community. Doing that, somehow I ended up being talked into sitting on the code enforcement board. So I served on the code enforcement board for 3 years, and from there they was asking me to run for office. So I actually ran for city council about 3 times and never made it. Around 2016, 2017, the ex-police chief, Chief Prentice Tyndall, was the police chief during my youthing days, came to me and said I needed to run for office again, and this time when I run for mayor. So he was the one that first gave me the idea of running for mayor. So I started giving it thought, because there's other people come to me and ask me to run for mayor. My new police chief, Chief Broadway, he would come and say, hey, people saying they want you to run for office again. It just so happened in 2019, he called me and he said, Tim, I'm just giving you an update. Mayor Ash says she's not going to run again next year and everything. I said, oh, I guess God is setting the things up because, I'm getting ready to retire next year. And sure enough, I retired. I walked away from the post office in February of 20. In between the making the decision, my 15-year-old came to me and said, my stepdaughter, she came in and said, Mr. Tim, you need to run for mayor. She said, I know if you run, you'll win. I said, I'll give it some thought. Of course, every 2 weeks she would come and stick this piece of paper up and say, have you thought about it? So when I finally decided to run, I went to her and said, yeah, but you have to tell your mother. And of course, we sit down at the dinner table and told her what we were going to do. And she said, okay, so I ran, and she was correct. I've been mayor since November 2020, up for re-election this year. This November, I'm hoping to look forward for another 2 years leading the city and representing the people here in the great city of Clermont.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. On our social media page, we polled our over 21,000 followers for questions that if they could ask a local official, what would they ask? And we compiled a few main topics that they were interested in learning more about. And the first one is about new businesses. So a topic many residents are eager to hear about is what new businesses are coming to Clermont. We had several people specifically asking about Trader Joe's. Can you share any details or hints you have?
I understand that with our form of government here, I do not, in Clermont, we do not have a section within City Hall that does economic development, okay? Of course, Florida is a property rights owner state, so basically the owner of property, whenever he decides to develop it, it's up to him what he develops. However, I do listen to the residents out here, and Trader Joe's, you're right, Trader Joe's is one of the biggest requests between Trader Joe's and Whole Food Market. Whole Food Market is one of the big requests I'm getting now. So, try to encourage that is when I hear developers coming here wanting to do something, I will go to them pretty much and say, hey, you ever thought about doing a Trader Joe's? Or ever thought about doing this or that? I can't make them, and I can't dictate to them what they do. I can put in the request to them. So that's usually what I try to handle those actions.
Anything new coming to the area that you're excited about, you've heard about?
The biggest thing most people are excited about right now is waiting for Longhorn. Bonefish Grill come in and, as well. Biggest area is concerned right now is down in Wellness Way in Olympus. Wellness Way is well underway being developed and a lot of different things down there, but the more commercial area it's called Olympus. It's still a little behind right now. We're really looking for that to take off and start running. Of course, that's going to have all your sports and all of your medical complexes. And I'm excited about it because it also offers a lot of different jobs opportunity, well-paying job opportunity for the residents here of Clermont. So.
Just a segue off of that, because that is something that came up a lot with all of our followers. They're interested in the roads and infrastructure. So with the recent growth of Clermont, especially with developments like Wellness Way that could bring over 16,000 new residents, what are plans in place to address things like increased traffic and infrastructure?
They recently repaved Schofield Road. I don't think they anticipated as much traffic on that road as they expected when they did it. Where Schofield Road used to extend out to Highway 27, it's no longer how Schofield Road. That extension is called Wellness Way now. Wellness Way actually going to extend all the way into Orange County as well. So that'll give you another relief over to the 429 in the Orange County in addition to Wellness Way. Hopefully we should be complete with our portion of Wellness Way by the end of the year or first by the early spring anyway. In addition to that, I know you hear a lot about Hartwood Marsh Road, Hancock. Hancock is going to be extended from Hartwood Marsh Road down into the Wellness Way area, which hopefully that also helps relieve some of the traffic. In addition to that, I'm very, very proud of what we just did with Highway 50. The state actually purchased almost $500,000 worth of equipment that we install on each one of the lights, signals from Orange County line all the way up to Grand Highway, which is 10 intersections. And with that, it gives real-time feeding of the traffic, pictures of the traffic as you're going through there. So basically what's happening now that's come online is they're taking and looking at the traffic as it's coming through the city, and they're adjusting the cameras and the lights and everything accordingly. And that's wonderful. Keeping the traffic flowing smoother. The traffic is still there. Yeah. Traffic is still there, but it's more and a lot smoother. It's not taking as long. I've had some of the residents come to me and say, yeah, it is working. They can agree. I've been talking to my city manager, mentioned to him the other night, maybe we may have to look at 27, Highway 27, doing the same thing. I'll go back to Wellness Way. I know the big concern down there is having a signal put at 27 and Wellness intersection. I'm understanding that hopefully by next year this time it'll be complete. Oh, okay. Keep in mind that we put a request in and started talking about putting a signal there a couple of years before they even started doing the upgrade of the road. My understanding, they just finished all the design and everything, so hopefully within the next 8 months, last report I got, within the next 8 months, we should have it complete. So.
Another question we've gotten regarding opportunity for kids in the area. So as more young families are moving to Clermont, residents are curious about whether there will be new amenities for children, such as parks, schools, recreational facilities. Are there any new projects in the works?
I don't have any park schedule. We don't have any park schedule for the city of Clermont right now, other than in the Wellness Way, what they're going to put in down there. We have schools scheduled to come in down there. Keep in mind that the city's not really responsible for school, but however, we do try to work with the school board and the developers to come up with some land opportunity for them to build schools. I know right now the request for schools from the county is 3 elementaries. One middle school and one high school in the area of Wellness Way. The meeting I had last week, they have secured the land for the elementary school, if I'm not mistaken. They're still working on a deal for the high school and everything. I do know there's a need to do more amenities and look after our youth a lot. As I've been saying since I've been mayor, is the fact that the demographics of Clermont have changed. Years ago, when I first came back here, we had more of a senior population. I grew up here, we only had one high school here in Clermont, one elementary school, one middle school. Now you look at the number of schools. I mean, when you got three high schools basically serving Clermont now, and you're talking about building another high school, that tells me what? The demographics have changed. So we have more youth. So we have to be able to service them as well. And that's one of the reasons I'm happy with Wellness Way and Olympus. Be able to give our youth the opportunity to go off, graduate, whatever, and come back and work right here in this area.
Another hot topic that people were really interested in hearing more about was parking. So parking is a big concern for many residents. Are there any upcoming plans to improve or expand parking in the downtown area? Do you foresee additional lots or maybe even a garage?
Parking has always been a big issue for years and years and years, and garage been talked about for 15 years. Okay, but in reality, if you go back and look at the study we just had done for parking in downtown, we have no parking issue in downtown area. We have an event problem. Okay, basically what I mean is when you have a special event, you don't have enough parking. Okay, um, and that's typical in any city. Anytime you have a special event, you go to any city, you go have a parking issue. But right now, we're in the downtown area. You can go down here and park anywhere, and that's typical any day of the week when not a special event going. However, in the last couple of years, when I first came in, we had looked at actually turning a parking lot right here in the building behind us, City Hall, the backside of that, which we have about 100 parking spaces there. We talked about putting a parking garage and converting it to a parking garage. We would have ended up about 380 parking spaces, and we're looking at a cost of about $13 to $15 million to do that. This is on a piece of property that we already own. Okay, still having to spend, and net about 280 parking spaces. However, council kind of turned away from that idea, and we started looking at other things. We just on the other side of the building here, we was able to acquire a little get a piece of property over there. We was able to put about 88 parking spaces in there. We had another piece of property down off of Osceola next to Salt Shack Restaurant. We was able to go ahead and say, hey, let's turn it into parking. Besides, years ago, they put Victory Point in, the tourist attraction and the activity center for people to exercise and everything. They never provided any parking for it. So there was also opportunity for us not just provide parking for Victory Point and everything else going down. And so we was able to turn around and put parking in there for just under 100 parking spaces there. So in the last couple of years or so, we was able to add almost 200 parking spaces for a fraction of the cost. Well, for less than $3 million, we did this compared to a parking garage that would have netted us about 280 parking spaces that would have cost us 15 million. So it was economical to do what we're doing. And then we also have another little piece of property over here that's we'll probably have to be taking some kind of action on right now. With that piece, I'm being told we can put 46 parking spaces in there at a cost about $750,000 now. Okay. Towards we're gonna have to take a vote on that. And so yeah, we are doing things to increase the parking downtown. Is it right time for a parking garage? I don't know. Eventually we may have to eventually go and get a parking garage. But even if we build a parking garage, I don't think it's gonna solve your parking issue when you have a main event.
Yeah. And we also heard there was a meeting regarding parking a few days ago. How did that go?
Like I said, I have a parking request over here to convert one of the areas to parking that we used to be actually parking to begin with, grass area. But one of my council members didn't like the idea. His thought was, hey, no, why don't we sell that piece and then let's go over here on another street where we got these extra wide easements and convert the easements into a parking space, parking for the in front of the people's homes. It didn't sit very well with me. So basically what I told them before I did anything, willing to spend any money for anything like that, because they were talking about $200,000 for a study to see how many we could put in there and what it would cost and everything. I didn't even want to spend $200,000 for a study, okay, until I heard from the resident. So we went ahead and scheduled a community forum and everything for the residents to come out and tell us how they felt, and to a man. Between the emails and the people that showed up to speak, out of the 30, I think about 37 residents or so, we had about 27 people that voiced their opinion, and not one of them was for it. So basically, we're not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere.
And could you touch on the area next to Sun Creek Brewery? A lot of people mention that parking area. Is there something the city could do that? Is that the city's property?
That's actually one of the areas we lease, and to the council member credit, yes, we lease a couple of parking lots around here and everything. And the fear is maybe one day we may lose that lease, okay? And what we're gonna do about parking. Well, that's why we've been taking the steps we've been taking, doing a little parking here where we can put parking. So it's not like we're not realizing that. That piece of property is owned, and we've been trying to purchase it for, I would say, at least 12 years. And because personally, I feel like it's a perfect location for a parking garage, and it's probably one of the locations that we can probably get the most parking out of. And of course, some people seem to think they don't want a parking garage there because they think they'd rather develop it and everything is more suited for development. I think it's more perfect for parking because not only will it serve the downtown area, it can also serve your waterfront area for your special events there. And it's, to me, it's very centralized for both downtown and that area. So, but the problem is the owner does not want to sell it. So we'll continue to lease it.
And we got to keep our fingers crossed that they put it up for sale. I think people are going to love to hear that all of these things, you know, happening behind the scenes and that progress is being made and that a lot of great things are coming to Clermont. So that wraps it up for kind of our main topics of conversation for today. What are the best ways for residents to stay in touch with the city of Clermont?
You can always go on our website, clermontfl.org and everything, and you can see everything that's going on. You can keep up with our city council meeting. One of the things I do, since I've been mayor, is once a month, I hold a mayor's luncheon, okay, at no cost to the city. I have to pay for my own lunch, and you as coming to the lunch have to pay for your own. But basically, I go to the different restaurants throughout the city. I arrange to have go to one of the different restaurants at 12 o'clock the first Tuesday each month. And I invite you, the public, out to sit down and talk to me. Anything you disagreement or agreement or whatever, it's your way to contacting me or coming in and having a form conversation with me.
Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today and answer these questions. We really appreciate it. And is there anything you would like to say to the people of Clermont?
Thank you for taking the time, and I just encourage people to continue to come on. I invite anybody out to come out to a city council meeting on the second and fourth Tuesday each month at 6:30 right here at City Hall. And if you want to follow what's going on in the city, like I said before, you got clermontfl.org. Everything is about the city is there. You only got only in Clermont. You got South Lake TV and a lot of other sources out there. You can follow what's going on in Clermont and everything. So thank you for the opportunity and thank you for coming out.